Hi everyone, thanks for returning to my channel. I'm Katya Paprika, and today we're making some adorable treats. These aren't just delicious treats, it's also a creative process that you can involve your kids in. If you're over 30, you can make your inner child happy, not hinting at anyone specific. I try to minimize the amount of sugar, but unfortunately it's not always possible to completely replace sugar, for example, like in meringue. But in other cases, we'll try to make desserts a little healthier. Let's start with cream-filled bear buns. Always sift the flour for baking so that it gets enriched with oxygen. You need 200 grams of flour and 100 milliliters of milk, which should be preheated to a warm state but not boiled. And also, separate the yolk from the white of one egg. We'll only need the yolk. Mix the flour, a little sugar, about 20 grams. Then add 3 grams of dry yeast, the yolk, and 20 grams of vegetable oil. All that's left is to add warm milk and knead the dough. Bring the dough to the point where it forms a ball, and then you can set it aside in a warm place to rest. Depending on the temperature of that place, the dough may need from half an hour to an hour. In the meantime, we'll work on the cream. Separate the whites from the yolks of 3 eggs. We only need the yolks. Instead of sugar, I add 3 or 4 tablespoons of Jerusalem artichoke syrup. This will slightly affect the color of the cream, but that's okay. Add 20 grams of cornstarch to the yolks. Make sure the mixture is smooth and without lumps. Then add 250 milliliters of hot milk, slowly pouring it into the egg mixture while constantly whisking. Now you just need to heat the mixture over low heat, stirring constantly to make the custard. Once the mixture thickens, remove it from the heat and add 20 grams of butter. Mix it well again and let the custard cool, covering it with plastic wrap so it touches the surface. While the custard cools in the refrigerator, the dough will rise and you can move on to the next step. Divide all the dough so that you get 9 pieces. We'll make buns from 8 of them and use 1 to make the ears. And you can also visually divide the custard into 8 parts right away. Roll out the dough into flat circles. Don't make them too big. Mine are just a bit wider than my palm. I immediately place the dough on a baking mat and put the filling on one edge. Seal the edges well and we'll sort of attach the ears from underneath. They should be round. Let the buns rest a little longer under a towel for 30 minutes. You'll see that the dough rises a bit more and the ears become fluffier and prettier. Brush the buns with 1 egg yolk. It's just enough for all 8 buns. And put them in an oven preheated to 180 degrees. 15 minutes will be enough. You can decorate the buns with melted chocolate, or you can use edible markers. After Easter, you can even find these in magnet or in confectionery stores for decorating gingerbread. And now let's use all our imagination and draw different faces. I made each one different, and I really liked it. It's a great way to clear your mind. They're best eaten when they've cooled down, and even better from the fridge, so the cream inside will be nice and cold. Do you still think that a stand mixer is a bulky machine that takes up an entire shelf in your kitchen? Or does this break that stereotype? This is a full-fledged stand mixer, but it's twice as compact as similar models. With the same 4-liter bowl capacity, it will fit perfectly even in a small kitchen, and storing it is a pleasure on its own. The bowl and stand are stored separately, and all the attachments can be conveniently placed in a special container that fits right into the bowl. Everything is visible, nothing gets lost. The open design allows you to add ingredients right while it's working, without stopping anything, and the splash guard will keep your kitchen clean even at maximum load. The mixer is equipped with double attachments of each type and scrapers that automatically clean the mixture from the sides of the bowl, so you don't have to stop the process. Of course, as expected from a planetary mixer, the attachments rotate both around their own axis and around the bowl for perfect results. This isn't some complicated contraption. Everything is intuitive. 6 speeds, a built-in timer, a simple and clear interface. Everything so you won't be distracted from your creativity. A professional approach in a compact form is waiting for you at the link in the description. Let's move on to the second recipe and make the cutest pandas using the leftovers from the previous recipe. There are 4 egg whites left, which need to be whipped with a pinch of salt, starting at medium speed. For best results, whip egg whites at room temperature in a clean bowl, ensuring no yolk gets into the whites. When the mixture turns white and increases in volume, start gradually adding 180 grams of powdered sugar and increase the whipping speed. At the end, add 2 teaspoons of cornstarch and 1 teaspoon of lemon juice. For a denser mixture, it may take up to 10 minutes to reach stiff peaks, but it depends on your mixer. Now you need to separate the whipped egg whites. Set aside about a couple of spoonfuls of the mixture in a bowl. We will use black food coloring. It can be dry, like black matcha or charcoal, or it can be liquid. Just don't add too much liquid coloring, as it can affect the consistency. We will use 1 large piping bag and 2 small ones. We'll put just a little bit of the black mixture into bag number 1, and the rest will go into bag number 2. You'll see why soon. And we'll put all the white mixture into the large piping bag. Since we need to draw finer lines on the Panda, bag number 1, which has the smallest amount of mixture, should have the smallest cut on the bag to create a thin line. We'll cut a bigger opening for bag number 2, and for the white mixture, we can cut generously. Don't be afraid. Base the cooking time on your cookie size. I use medium cookies. Large ones aren't recommended, and smaller ones are easier to eat. Now, pipe the meringue mixture onto each upside-down cookie. Make a ball that almost covers the whole cookie, but remember that the meringue will expand a bit while baking, so leave some space around the edges. Place a second cookie on top. Make a little hat at an angle. And now comes the most fun part. With piping bag number 2, the bigger one, draw the eyes. Actually, the black circles around the eyes at a slight angle. With piping bag number 1, draw the nose. And again, with bag number 2, make the ears. My heart was so happy to see all this cuteness, I almost didn't want to eat it. Honestly, I felt a little sorry afterwards. I ended up with 25 pieces, and there was a little bit of black mixture left over, so don't set aside too much egg white for coloring it black. You need to dry the meringue at 110 degrees for 1 hour, and then you can set it to 100 degrees and leave it for another hour. The main thing is, don't open the oven door and don't take the meringue out right after drying. Let it cool down in the oven. We have one final recipe to prepare: strawberry mochi. You can use any berries or fruits as long as they're not too watery, but right now it's strawberry season. Cut a large handful of strawberries into pieces however you like. And let's take a 220g pack of cream cheese. For a light sweetness, I added a couple of spoons of Jerusalem artichoke syrup. I love the creamy taste. If you want it sweeter, you can add powdered sugar to the cream. We will whip it in a mixer to make the cottage cheese cream fluffier, and the berries will give a bit of syrup and juice. It's for the flavor, color, and to leave noticeable pieces. For convenience, we use a pastry bag, although you can also add the filling with a spoon. For mochi, you need glutinous rice flour, which you can find on marketplaces. First, mix 110 grams of glutinous rice flour, 15 grams of powdered sugar, and 5 grams of cornstarch in a bowl. After combining the dry ingredients, add 20 grams of vegetable oil and 110 grams of water. Once you have a smooth mixture without lumps, you can add a drop of red food coloring for a nice color, or grind some freeze-dried raspberries in a coffee grinder and add a couple of pinches of the powder for color. We will cook the dough in a frying pan. Heat it to medium temperature and pour the mixture onto the pan. Use a spatula to constantly press and knead the dough, flipping it to the other side as if you are kneading it during this frying stage. This way, there won't be any lumps. In about 4 or 5 minutes, the dough will form into a dense ball. Sprinkle the surface with cornstarch and start kneading the dough while it's still hot. It shouldn't be too hot if you're wearing gloves, so work quickly. You'll need another 5 minutes for a thorough kneading, and the dough for mochi will become soft and tender like a stretchy mass. Divide the dough into 8 parts and roll each of these balls out with a rolling pin. Don't make the dough too thin or the filling might break through. For convenience, you can use a small plate. Place the filling from the fridge in the center and pinch the edges together. You can trim off any excess. You can eat it right away, but it's better to chill it. I put it in the freezer for about 40 minutes. And actually, you can freeze the dessert and take out one piece a day, so you don't end up eating them all at once. That's my tactic. That's all from me. I hope you enjoyed the video. I'd be very grateful. If you like this video, leave a comment and share it on social media. I would really appreciate it because it helps the video reach more people. Be sure to check out the playlist where you'll find all kinds of delicious treats, including healthy desserts. Well, this was Katya Paprika with you. Let's eat delicious and healthy food.